Alright, let's go over my trade on gold as well. Very one-sided. This is a Monday you can absolutely trade. In fact, I've traded the last 3 weeks on gold every single Monday. They all have logic to go in the anticipated direction that I traded. But anyways, why did I long this day here? Well, the week is opening up within a range. And this range has a lot of context behind it, honestly. It has enough for you to anticipate some move away. Um, the first reason is because of this divergence here that we're seeing between these assets, right? And the signature that we get. So every single asset creates a gap away from this SMT, which is obviously high probable, right? So that V-shaped signature, typically a good signature to see, right? Um, so we're opening up within that already, and we haven't yet reversed the previous day. So where's the only area to reverse from? The previous day's low, right? But what I want you to pay attention to is this gap itself, where GBP has not traded into the gap. You see that? We have not traded into that gap. So we have S&T with the gap itself, which is really good to see. And Euro just traded into that gap today, which this here is a S&T breaking because we know that the previous day, Thursday or Friday, right, we're already in this gap. We already hit this Wednesday low, but we just broke that S&T. So again, when S&T breaks, it's exactly what we have over here, right? The same signature that we see between triads that I just went over last video. So that's really good to see, right? But also what's really good to see is this strength switch that we see. So look at the low day on the weaker asset when I'm comparing it to Euro and GBP. We know that GBP is the strongest asset, right? But over here, the low of the day is 2100. The low of the day over here is 7 o'clock. So there's a divergence there. So there's your two-stage SMT. This is your market maker model, right? Price is leaving consolidation. Here's your phases of price, right? And you also have a two-stage SMT as well over here, right? So when we form this SMT, when I go to the profile on the 4-hour chart, we see the daily opens low first, very large opposing run. Doesn't mean we can't trade it. It just means you must adjust our target rate. Let me get rid of this shit. So we have a 6 a.m. reversal. Let me go. All right. We have a 6 a.m. reversal. Boom. So expecting a 10 a.m. continuation here. When I go to lower time frame, you're going to see that we have some SMT within here. I should delete this shit, by the way. When I compare the charts, Euro, at this point, maybe GBP. Yeah, so here's the SMT right here. Right? This is a failure to manipulate this high that you're seeing. Right, this is also the same thing you see at the lows, by the way, guys. So look at this low down here. Draw that out. It just got traded into over here. But if I draw that same low on gold, I mean, clearly we failed to manipulate it, obviously, right? But as soon as you break that SMT, this is when price reverses. You see that? So that's pretty significant, right? We're creating gaps, we're holding opposing candles, right? So the 10 a.m. open is right here. You're seeing that it kind of opens low first. The low of the candle is created from SMT here. So if I zoom in, you're going to see it. It's right here. There's that divergence right there. So when I go to lower time frame, what are we within? This opposing candle. So that's kind of what I enter on. But another reason why I enter this is because we failed to manipulate this relevant high. So I kind of demand a little bit more context here because of the profile, right? We have a very large opposing run, so I want to see price fail to manipulate this high on the hourly chart. So there's a reason to continue high, right? Because there's nothing beyond this high. Like if you don't manipulate here, it means we can probably continue high, right? Um, so that's very important what happens here. We want to see it expand through it, so that's what we get, right? If I mark this out, you're seeing 10 a.m. opens low, right? It tries to manipulate the high, then we close through, right? That is a failure to manipulate signature. Here's your SMT, right? There's multiple entries here. And I'm targeting the daily opening price because of the profile, right? If the day doesn't support expansion, it doesn't mean we can't trade it, right? We know that reversal candles, they must form a certain way, right? They must open low first, right? If it opened high first, that'd be a invalidation, but here we want to be trading the open low. We want it to open low, put in some relevant reversal, which we have, 2-stage SMT. We want it to also from the low pretty early on in the day, so here is 640, so there's enough time in the day to expand back to the opening price, back to that weekly open. So that was my trade there. And yeah, I would probably still lean bullish, right, coming into this day because if I look here, this would be my invalidation point, this gap, right? So this objective looks pretty good, honestly. And then also for um, these assets on NQ and whatnot, this opposing candle looks pretty good to support price because we can't really assume that this is the high of the week. Monday, probably not, right? So this probably becomes a drawn liquidity as well as a previous week's high. But I just come into this session. I don't like to predict too much, but those are my ideas, and I let these sessions confirm it, the profile confirm it. So very stress-free way to trade, in my opinion. I don't do much anticipation. I just let price. I can have an idea, like these are my ideas, but they still have to be confirmed, right? I don't care if I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. But yeah, those are my ideas, and that was my trade breakdown. Pretty, pretty clean this day, honestly. Pretty clean narrative. When we just open up within a range, there's only one way to go. It just makes sense, right, to go bullish early on the week. And yeah, even if we're going to be bearish, right, what would we likely do, right? We would open high first if we're going to be bearish. Probably sweep at this high. Because I mean, if you're going to go bearish, like this day would go bearish. It would just be expanding, right? Which it did, but it just hit a relevant level, right? That relevant level is actually this, the trigger for this asset at this low. But anyways, I'll leave you with that. Hopefully you found that insightful.